To the road to growth, success of an entrepreneur.
We've raised the bar.
Learn firsthand from successful business owners and create your own path to success.
I'm going to show you how great I am.
It's time to hit the road to growth with team lead of the Enriquez Group, Realtor Vinny.
Hi, Road to Growth listeners. Today we have David, President and CEO of WITI. But you're going to be changing the name, right? Do you have ideas of? Today we have David.
Well, we do call it WITI.
CEO of WITI. Okay. WITI.
Is that background on me?
Name, right? Yeah, it's on you. Oh, I think so.
We do call it WITI.
CEO of WITI. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, you're all good. I mean,
Okay.
talking about technology, we're going to be having. That's what David does. He helps individuals use technology. We're going to be having. I guess businesses help. David does. He helps. But I think we got rid of it. There we go. All right. Well, so David, so President and CEO of WITI. Yeah. So helping individuals, business owners incorporate and use technology, I guess, to better engage with their clientele and everyday tasks. Can you hear me still? Or
Yes, I can hear Vinny. Sorry, it went away because I muted, but I'm going to find it. You know, I think, listen, which I think is a good. I can hear Vinny. Lesson. Sorry, it went away because I muted.
It's for sure interesting with technology, right? It makes your life a lot easier, and it can make it a little more difficult too, and especially if and I guess a segue would be, because I'm presuming StreamYard's a new platform for you, David. And so when you have a new platform, sometimes you're not too familiar with it, and you kind of like you have the bumps and bruises, right? So that's why it's always good to have someone like you at WITI that has already done the technology, has used the technology to walk through all the kinks.
For sure. And look, I think that, as far as the issue I was having right there, I had the YouTube channel up. I didn't realize that. Then it just started playing when we went live. I had too many tabs open on my browser. I admit it, that I need to go through. But sometimes you just have to clean house and get rid of stuff because, it's all about transformation. And I think in 2025, it's never been more top of mind for me anyway, just where we are with the world.
Oh yeah, technology is crazy if you're not staying up to date with this. I mean, especially artificial intelligence. If once we get to that point of quantum computing, and it's probably a little ways away, but yeah, it's if you're not up to date on that stuff, you're gonna be left behind, or you're gonna have to reinvent your business to belly to belly or something that computers can't currently do, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think whatever you're doing, you can always evolve, and how can you leverage the latest tools to improve service to your customers and maybe supply chain of how you're getting products or how you're communicating, getting new customers. Right. This is just all kind of the cycle that's happened. Like I said, way back, when I started in tech in the 80s, I always say, when the fax machine came out, I was so excited. I had been mailing things to my clients and I had to sit there 2 days. Okay. When they get it, then they get back to me. Right. But then the fax machine, they were instantly able to get it.
Well, so I think you said you started your business in the 80s.
Yep.
And then what was it the early 90s, right, when websites started really coming about?
Yeah, the web browsers came out in I think 92, 93 is when the Netscape browser came out. So, there was the web there, was not the web like we see it now. You had to use dial-up modems to get reception, and, that it was very slow for the pages to load. The vision, I think, for a lot of it was there, and it went well beyond what anybody, I think, could imagine. And I'm sure you've heard all the stories. Amazon started as a bookstore. The guy that started eBay has his girlfriend collected Pez dispensers, and he had put up a little site to try to find her Pez dispensers. That's how eBay started. Now it's eBay. Yeah, and then the breakthroughs in telecommunications with ISDN lines and the T1 lines and fiber, blah blah blah. And I see people now. It's just like so so spoiled, we'll say, because everything works usually.
So did you have, I mean, you've been in business, I mean, close to what, 35, 40 years, right?
Yeah,
Somewhere in there?
yeah. 40 years I've been around in business. Started very, very young. WITI, we started in '89.
So did
And
you, I mean, your company, right? Has it always been the plans to help other businesses and I guess individuals with technology? I mean, that was always the plan when you started out?
well, look, early on, we had a company called Criterion Research, and my mom had that, and I was in high school. I mean, I was kind of just out of high school, going to college, wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Selling clothes is what I did. I was offered a job in downtown LA. I lived in the San Fernando Valley to run a front door store, and she had just gotten a big contract with Hughes Aircraft or HP Labs, one of the two. So she's like, "Oh, you can work out of your house and work for me." I said, "Great." What we did back then was we helped companies identify people with core competencies in different areas of tech, and they'd use that information to buy their companies, partner with them, sometimes hire them, and we'd help them with some of the hiring process stuff. At that time, too, a lot of great tech was coming out of aerospace. They'd hire us to do research on what commercialized opportunities there may be for them. In '89, my mom had the idea for WITI, which stood for Women in Technology International. That same year, I connected with a guy named Philippe Kahn, who later went on to invent the camera phone. But he had run one of the early PC software companies, and I got a deal with them where I was taking care of all of their really retained search to span the globe for people that had software knowledge, right? So back then, there was no LinkedIn, there were none of these tools, there was no web. So I really had to identify companies, to form relationships with people. And I'd work with them on everything from the VPs of worldwide sales to the top technology people in the world that were building the future of software back then. So those were exciting times. WITI grew. The intention of WITI was to support women getting into higher levels of companies and include men and all humans in the conversation. That was really all around as men and women. We may work differently, we may problem solve differently. That's okay. Leverage that. If we try to work like them, Vinny, or they try to work like us, we're probably missing out on a big piece of what's possible. So so through the 90s, and as you mentioned, the web browser came out and the whole .com grew. Through that time, I had started a technology and risk management company called Risk Analysis Group. Wevolution, my brother and I had started early web company. And now, I don't want to be here, 24 hours. They walk through each year. But, then more recently, as I took over WITI and I'd help my mom kind of with it. And we had different CEO leaders come in and run it. It was clear, and it was through some research we did a few years ago, that look, let's bring everything together. We're still keeping the name WITI because we do like the 4-letter URL, and it now stands for Workforce Innovation, Trust, and Influence.
So your mom kind of started the company with, I guess, your assistants. Then you left, started some other businesses, then came back, and now you're kind of running the show.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many of these other businesses have, like, I guess, partnerships with WITI? Because I would think, right? I mean, if you're helping people use technology, right, you're on the forefront of helping them choose what's going to be the best company to use for these technologies, right? And you probably come across a lot of these different companies, startups or whatnot, going, hey, better pricing here. Hey, maybe I should get in on this startup. I mean, so how much of, like, yeah, does it all come together, I guess?
Yeah, no, for sure. And look, I think that I mean, a couple of things happened, right? So first of all, I think how to use information, how to leverage information, a lot of it's there. I think since the pandemic shut things down for most of the world and everybody was very isolated, they do want, rather than just watching a video about technology, they may prefer, live learnings and relationship building and connecting. So that's where I saw a lot of the opportunity just as things grew. Um, so a couple things, right? So for AI, I'm sure you use some AI, Vinny. Your show is amazing. All the tech you're using. Um, what can help you, just make things run smoother if there are things, and help you spend more time with your family. Do you have to learn every AI tool, right? It's like overwhelming now for people just getting into it.
Well, there, I mean, it's crazy. I had someone on, I want to say beginning of this year, 2000. Well, you probably listened to this in 2025, but in 2024 we're recording. So beginning of 2024, I believe it was. But they have a platform where you can actually record yourself answering questions and then talk to basically that quote unquote AI person through the computer.
Yeah.
And so they originally started for businesses where you could basically talk to an employee or someone there as a computer. And like, you just think about that, you could basically be having conversations with clients and customers 24/7, or your AI, your avatar or whatever. And so it's bonkers where things are going. It's just going to get more affordable as time passes.
Definitely. And just usable, right? I mean, I'm sure some of my experience had been anyway. I'd get into these, loops with voicemail, press one for this, press
Mhm.
two for that. Do you want the auto person to help you? No, I just need to talk to a human. It's not like that anymore, right? I mean, we want information we need quickly and we want it to be correct. So I think that there's certainly some healthy things as we're turning the corner now with AI.
So I mean, I guess in essence, even though you were at the early stages of it starting Witty, yet it was your mother's, I guess, probably vision and control, right? So I guess a second generation owner of a business, right? When you're seeing this for so many years, it kind of expand and grow, and you're probably thinking, oh, I could probably do this better, or hey, maybe we should do this over here. When you did get the reins of it, how much of that list of stuff that you wanted to change was it there, or was it just, hey, you know what, I got to look at this as just a new business and assess it? Like, what was that mindset, I guess?
No, look, it was all around. I'm all about making a place that works for everybody, so
Yeah.
everybody can be fully self-express, authentic, and live to their fullest high human potential. WITI had been Women in Technology International. And while I certainly helped my mom, with anything she needed for the business, and kind of, had sales at one time, did, whatever, we jump in. My brother is our CTO, so type person, so he'd jump in. We had different visions for the business, and again, times change too, and tech you could use to run things. So it really, and then I came in kind of a few years. She's very passionate about dogs. So she has a whole holistic dog center and camp for dogs up here on the Central Coast. And she had hired another CEO of WITI. That didn't work out. I said, okay, why don't I come in? Let me get the finances, everything kind of running smoothly. Let's figure out maybe new business models that we could look to grow within WITI, and then had that all kind of fixed and built up in January 2020. And then the next month, the pandemic came. So then we had to regroup again because we had our big 26th annual summit happening at the Marriott or the Hyatt in San Francisco. Regrouped, shifted things online. That went smoothly. We had interaction from everybody, many people from probably 20 to 30 different countries, which we continue to have today. After that, I said, okay, well, why don't we update the federal glass ceiling report? That was an initiative that was under President Clinton way back in the day to really take a look at what's preventing women and underrepresented people from moving up in corporations in corporate America, and how was that going to hurt us in the global economy if we're not leveraging all of our talent? So got Glass Seal Report 2.0 out. Intel was our partner with that, which was great. We're able to look inside big companies, small companies, see what was going on. After that came out, it's like, okay, a couple things that we had a lot of assumptions about, number one, this DEI stuff at companies is inauthentic and doesn't work. We knew that from the get-go because we started WITI. It was way before all that, And when I say that, it's more about compliance and PR-driven programs, right? WITI was her idea for WITI came out of work we did with HP Labs. And they were always known they had these big focus group rooms where they would bring in all types of people, lawyers, doctors, black, white, men, women, and just have everybody brainstorm about where technology is going to be in 10 or 15 years. That's the type of cognitive diversity that we want that leads to more innovation and company growth. At the end of the 90s, when the tech got so big and they just started really these numbers-driven initiatives, I think it was just, it did not help. It was definitely the worst thing for women, just seeing that as a number. And it just, I think it's another HR initiative gone wrong. But, whatever. I mean, we kind of supported our partners. We sold different things. As I came, and then another thing, so then I got the idea. It's like, you know what? Why don't I just merge? So I've been working mostly at that point, in addition to WITI with Criterion Research, that was my search and research firm. And I'm seeing all these companies come to us with strategies on hiring people, or they want to hire diverse people or something. And they have all these lip service after Me Too happens, after the George Floyd's terrible incident. And it's just like, no, they don't want to do that. They're just bullshit. They're trying to, get a good news clip. And that's what I've been an expert in since the 80s. Like I was finding top talent for the biggest companies in the world. And it wasn't through tactics that companies are doing now. So then I got the idea, why don't I just merge all the companies together? WITI will stand for Workforce Innovation, Trust, and Influence. We may change it to Workplace, though. Vinny, you're hearing it first on your show. And just help everybody grow. This isn't... Go ahead.
So how many businesses, you're talking about merge everything together, how many businesses came together, about 4 years ago, right? And
it's like two years ago.
Okay.
Right. So it was first WITI, it was Criterion Research, and then our company Webolution. We had been doing business under that. So that was kind of a web consulting integration company. And then with retained search and recruitment, and then WITI, that was more of a brand building kind of community platform. And
so how many different owners of each of these companies? Was it just you and your brother on all these? Were you the owner of some of the companies, and then some of them are you and your brother, or what did that look like with these?
Yeah, they were all owned by our family, by myself, my brother, and my mom.
So the percentages, I guess, because that would be probably the difficult part, right? If there was different percentages for different companies, figuring out what the new percentages at WITI, or is it just bought out, or do you get paid for it? I mean, what did that kind of, was it all just... pretty
we,
easy, I guess?
we have a holding company over all of them. So
Okay.
it made it easy, and we don't we seem to get along, and I think we all have complementary skills as well.
Hmm.
Now we do have the dog camp, Love Dogs Camp, so that's even though that's part of the owner of the under the whole family businesses, she kind of keeps that separate. There's not too much alignment here. Although we are starting some kind of dog training via the web and via Zoom, right? Because we think too, for people that might work at large companies, just being able to have programs they can plug in. We have a lot of companies that'll just buy WITI membership as a benefit to their employees so that they can connect with other people. We have physical events. We do a lot of Zoom events where there's breakout rooms and connecting and stuff like that. We're big into well-being. So whether they're going to our somatic healing session or meditation or breathing or whatever, just having that there. AI, right when OpenAI came out with ChatGPT a few years ago, we started having two what we call generative AI think tanks every week. So it's really about like just crowdsourcing the knowledge to make sure all of our people are upskilling and learning and not getting left behind. There's so many things coming out. It's like, we call it crowdsourcing the knowledge, from all our members. And we'll have people, amazing people that show up to these things. And sometimes we'll be keynoting a big conference or coming to our, Zoom thing just to share what they learned and to learn for what they want to do.
We're a ballpark around 20 minutes or so into the episode. And I know, the technology avenue, there's probably some people that have joined curious about basically kind of the growth and struggle in the technology. For myself, doing so many of these different podcasts, one of the really intriguing factor, I think, of you, and I've only started to realize it, is the dynamic between you and your brother and your mom. Owning a business. I've heard of, I've had basically second generations on here. I've had first generations passing on to second generation, but usually there's a strategy of kind of almost passing on the company to the next in line. But it seems like that torch really hasn't fully passed because your mom's still fully involved in it. So I think it's almost a intriguing kind of way of running the business.
Yeah, she's not involved in WITI, anymore. More kind of as an advisor. She's in her 80s. She still runs the dog camp full time. So don't get me wrong. She's doing good stuff. But you're right. It is, sometimes those Thanksgiving dinners can have a little hostility over business stuff. Not too bad. It's all good.
So does she still have a third? When a big decision's happening, is it still basically at the table, you guys raising your hands and going, okay, us two agree with this and one doesn't? Or how does that look like when you make big decisions?
Yeah, I'm the CEO of WITI, so I have a team.
Okay.
A team outside the family that we run the business. Certainly, I love getting counsel from my brother or my mom if I feel like, hey, I'd love your perspective on this.
Yeah.
But they trust me to run the business, and I'm the CEO, so I have last veto power. No.
Okay. So there is basically a hierarchy then. Okay, because I've had husband-wife relationships on here, and they've talked about it. Well, there's not technically how they relay it. There's no one has full say on it. It's just they have to mutually agree upon. But you actually do have the final say to if something feels like the right way of going.
Yeah, for sure. And look, we're transforming a lot of things, and now with AI, and here we are at 2025. I really feel like it's going to change the whole work, just the whole landscape of how we work, right? We have one of our programs within WITI is our men's group, Odyssey. And, then we have one session that's more like confidential container for people to share. And we have one for women, one for men. So my word of the year for the last couple weeks now has been nothing. And the reason I went from breakthroughs for most of the year to nothing is, as I look through 2025, I really want to create from nothing without bringing in any of my, any limitations that I might say, oh, you have to do this way. No, you don't. Oh, we're this. Maybe not, right? But how do we, and I think that's how all of us, I think, as small business owners, sometimes we get caught up in the minutia, or this happened, we're reacting, this or that, right? But it's really about, how can we create from nothing, leverage all these phenomenal tools that we didn't even know would exist, and then serve our customers more effectively and build great products and do good things for the world.
Well, I mean, what does that look like in real life, I guess? I mean, I understand the idea of it, but what does that really look like? Is it putting on paper all the different AI avenues that you have available, and then basically figuring out what your why is, your company path, or your North Star, and then kind of plugging and play? Or what does that kind of look like on like I guess in the real world, I guess?
Yeah, I think for me, it looks like setting big goals, writing my OKRs, if you're familiar with OKRs, which are objectives and key results. Measure what matters. I read a few years ago and continue to kind of catch up on that. And it's really, if anything was possible, what would I build that really aligns with my core values? And stretch goals and things I did not, may not think were possible if I'm coming from, oh, this is this, right? In your real estate business, oh, I have to sell X amount of houses, right? To the person who started, whatever the big real estate companies are, right? But you know what I'm talking about, Vincent, right? Oh, Zillow. See, I almost said Zapier. I'm like, that's not, or is that Zap? Yeah, Zappos is shoes, Zapier, Zillow, right? These are just different ways to look at things. And in the industry, with the knowledge I have, what's possible? What do I love doing? I think with a lot of things we do for our members now, we don't allow any recruiters recruiting in WITI because we do power communities for companies. So we want it to be a safe space. But we do have many of our members that are amazing, that may have gotten their division cut at their company and then or got laid off. There's all the layoffs happening, right? I think another thing that AI is doing that's making it tough on people is creating just a cluster within applying for jobs and ATS systems and right. I mean, people get laid off and I applied for 100 jobs. I haven't gotten a response, or I keep getting rejection letters, and it's like with our community, we say, listen, that's broken in many companies, that part, right? How do you build the trusted relationship, figure out where you want to go, and then we get you there.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong, the two communities that you have, or the two communities that you kind of briefly talked about with regards to the Men in Power group and the Women Power group, right? You use those almost kind of like to see what possible recruits are out there, people are going to be out there, or workers, and then also possible ideas of new companies. I mean, you almost use that to kind of stay in tune with the market.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, as an accelerator, and by the way, we just have one program for just for men and one program that's just for women. Most everything else, everybody's welcome to. We have a code of ethics that talks about, no one stands alone, and we're going to support each other. Business first, collaboration rather than competition. How do we help everybody get there faster and smarter?
Yeah.
So, we have AI sessions, we have digital health community, we have a cybersecurity community. One of our great partners is WGU, that has hundreds of their students as WITI members. That not only are they learning what they learned through their college education they're getting within WGU, and many of them may have already had a career, want to get their master's or get into cybersecurity or something, but then they can come into WITI to build connection and relationship with people that are already in the industry. And how do they get connected to people, right? If you want to go to a business, if you want to go to a Qualcomm, because you could add value to that company. Qualcomm's hot. That's down near you, Vinny, right? And they get, so applying to a job at Qualcomm, I mean, what does that do, right? If you could add value, maybe you worked at a small chip company, who knows, right? But then it's figuring out just how to get to the right person, leveraging the community to get there. And I think these are just strategies that people are going to have to take on for 2025 and beyond, because AI, yes, there's AI and all the exciting tech happening and everything going on. It's just creating so much noise also. So then as a human, how do we get through that, and how do we connect authentically with people?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a difficult thing. I mean, if someone's listening right now and they're looking to try to build their own community tribe, and it seems like, I mean, you've put together a very strong one, is there any kind of rules of wisdom, any kind of thoughts that they should really factor in when they're trying to build that? Anything you can kind of provide?
Yeah, I think communication. We do, by the way, power other communities too. So if they look at our code of ethics and they feel they're aligned with WITI, they can reach out to us, because we have what we call our Powered by WITI program, because I think that there's a lot of redundancy out there. And the more we can grow, everybody can support each other. That's been my vision. But look, I would say just, get the tech in place. Get there's solutions out there like Mighty Network, School, other that are kind of SaaS-based platforms. Only issue with those is it's an empty community, right? So you have to build everything. And it's work. It might start off like something, but you have to have a plan and use AI.
I mean, networking groups are, I mean, I know it's different with technology and all that kind of stuff that you're putting together, but networking groups are shit, man. They're hard. I tried to put together a BNI group a couple years back, and it was like pulling teeth getting everyone on board. I got to like 18 people, and it was just, so yeah, no, it's difficult. So if you can use the backing of another entity, especially if you align, I mean, that's gold right there.
Yeah. I used to go to BNI. I mean, God, I went to a few things many, many years ago, probably decades ago. But it's good to hear they're still around. But right, it is, and I think that might be a different market. So we should talk about that, Vinny, just for what you're doing, because I love what you're doing with the podcast and with supporting entrepreneurs and everything else.
No, I appreciate that. Well, thank you, David, for being here. If people if they're listening and they're looking to be part of the community, get more information about WITI, and there's a lot of stuff that we probably didn't even dive into. So it's probably going to be easier to go to that platform and actually get the true sense of what WITI has to offer. So what's the best way of getting more information?
Sure. Thanks. WITI.com. We're going through a complete web transformation now. So maybe by the time your listeners will be there, they'll see the updated site. But WITI.com, and then WITI on X, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the usual suspects.
And I'm going to do one last question, just because I know community is kind of is a big thing, but also technology and like that. If we were talking, let's say in 5 years from now, is there a platform that maybe is newer, or a way of using technology that's a newer way of doing it that you could see being more of the norm in 5 years from now?
We're building our new platform, and we have an old platform, right? That was very state of the art. We started it at the end of the 90s, and then it's been evolving it, and now we're pulling everything apart. We're actually using AI. We have a partner company called Apexive, Alexis Yushin and Sophia. And it's amazing now because we can use AI to code a lot of it. And then there's a company called Odoo. Well, it's actually more of an open source effort, Odoo, ODOO, that we're utilizing to build this whole ERP. So I think that we're creating something that's pretty phenomenal. There's a lot of, there's a lot of kind of membership companies where they'll power your membership and customer service and some of these other things. Many of these things, some of these things are nonprofit, for profit, no profit, just wanting to connect. I'd just say have a plan and think about the outcomes and where you want to go in 5 years, right? And then build to that.
Well, is there a and I guess it'd probably be witty, and I'll still ask the question: is there a place where people that are into cutting edge stuff and they want to hear about the new things that are coming about that they should basically stay in tune with, or go to, or check out? Or I mean, is there a platform? Yeah.
No, total. Look, come to WITI, to our YouTube channel.
Okay.
I do currently 3, just like 10 or 15-minute YouTube lives every week. One's on AI agents. One's on just the latest in AI. And then Camille Bank I partner with for the third one. And first one's Jas Dillon and Brad Rochefort on the latest. And then with Camille's like out there looking at all these amazing tools and has an AI in 60-second show he does. But then we just kind of, so basically what I try to do with those shows is all these areas that are so big, just get it down for the user to what are some of the things you can know about now, the latest tools. Gamma, we're in the midst of becoming a partner with. I don't know if you've used Gamma.
Gamma's isn't that the camera thing?
No, Gamma's like a presentation maker or website builder. Okay. But it's really like things, if you were ever creating a PowerPoint for a client, you paste it in Gamma, it kicks out like the most awesome presentation for you. In seconds. Creates AI images, and then it's so easy to tweak. Then you can put it on a PowerPoint, maybe tweak it. Like, it's reduced months of my work time. And
well, I all I know is when this episode is done, I'm going straight to subscribe to your YouTube channel just to watch those. I always have the YouTube going on in the background while I'm making my phone calls and that stuff. So yeah, I'll be doing that. Hopefully everyone listening, I mean, because you're going to get a lot more, I think, nuggets and information, staying in tune with what's going on. And I mean, the networking groups, I've gone on there a couple times. Sadly, it's a time that I play basketball. So I have my weekly basketball that makes it more difficult. But I mean, it's a great platform to jump on and talk to people that are looking to grow, like-minded individuals.
No, I don't want to take you away from the basketball, Vinny. We do have stuff all throughout the year. All throughout the week. But my basketball days growing up in LA, quick story real quick. The park that we had where people would come all over to play. And we played, and then the drug rehab center for the NBA was right near it.
Oh gosh.
They'd take the pros out for for like lunch at the park. They'd come play with us. We'd have NBAers playing in our games.
Oh yeah, no, we're not that good. We probably have we can have an NBAer that maybe has 2 broken knees. I mean, that's probably the level of competition that we have.
You're getting me excited about basketball, though. Listen, I'm 57 now. My knee, I shifted to hockey when I was like 25. That was easier on the knees. I still try to get out there and skate a little bit, but getting old, Vinny.
Hey, you know what? It gets us all. Thank you, David, for being here. Hopefully everyone got some great information. Please go in the show notes. Go subscribe to the platforms. I mean, thank you guys. Please subscribe, please share, and go tell your friends. Bye, everyone.
Thanks.